Check-A-Bet Nation, I got to tell you, this is one of the most important things that we do, because doing this helps us learn about the problem, not by reading a book, not by any of this stuff. I want to learn about the problem from the people who have the problem. The point of all of this is I need you to learn from Mr. Will here about how he takes care of his wife, who's an Iraqi veteran. So this is unique because we're talking to a civilian, which is actually the target audience of Check-A-Bet. How do we keep veterans safe? Civilians helping them. So it's unique because we got a civilian, and I'm going to ask him and learn from him what helps her, what hurts her, and maybe what drives her into crisis. And then I'm going to ask Will about what does he do to make her feel better, or uplift her, or change the environment that she's in. So that's what's going to happen here. Will from Indiana. Hey, Michael Carmichael. I'm the founder and CEO of Check-A-Bet.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, no problem.
So let's start with this. Give me a brief introduction on yourself. Who you are, where you were born, where you live, what's your occupation?
My name's Will. I was born in Indiana, bounced around the country, lived in Arizona, California, South Carolina.
Okay. What's your occupation?
Retired now. I started out as a firefighter.
Okay.
Then I went into factory work.
Yeah.
And then I got laid off and under NAFTA.
Was that your last occupation? You were a firefighter and then a factory worker?
No.
Okay.
I got laid off and went to school for electronics and got picked up at Crane Naval Weapons Station as a technician.
That's good. So what I'm doing is trying to establish some rapport with Will. I want to know who he's from, where he's from, what he does. That way, any barriers that he has up, because I'm asking open-ended questions, I hope those barriers will come down. And then I become kind of a trusted agent instead of a stranger, right?
Right.
Will, tell me about your amazing Iraqi wife veteran.
Well, I met her about 5-6 years ago, and we both worked at Crane.
You both went to what?
We both worked at Crane.
Crane. Okay.
And then we knew each other for a couple of years, and then we started a romance, and it just grew.
Whoa, that's too much for America. Okay, go ahead. I'm just playing. Hey, suicide can't be all about kicks and balls. It has to be about laughs too. Go ahead.
Has to be about what?
You have to laugh about it too.
Right.
If you can't make it fun, nobody's going to want to do it. So I try to joke about stuff where I can, where appropriate. Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then we started seeing each other and just fell in love, and she's the most wonderful person I've met in my life.
So I'm trying to do the math in my head, and I'm thinking she was already a veteran when you met her.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. This is kind of a unique situation, so we're going to treat it as such. Will, how long had she been out of the service when you guys met her and started your romance?
Let's see. I think 5 or 6 years.
Okay. So it's fair to say that by the time you met her, she had already gone through one of the hardest things of her life, which is transition out of the service. The talking points for that is, a veteran loses their sense of identity and their sense of purpose. In my opinion, I'd like to say that because there's not a wrong answer after it. In my opinion, those two things together are 1/3 of the problem. I'll bet you your wife really missed the camaraderie of the service, being with her brothers and sisters and being together, having somebody to look after her, and being able to look after somebody else. So when you guys got together, she had already passed all of that, right?
Yes.
So she's been Iraqi war veteran, transitioned out, so hopefully emotionally she's kind of stable, right?
For the most part, yes.
So tell me a little bit about your guys' relationship. And be honest. Is it perfect? Is it terrible? Is it somewhere in the middle like this? And I know she's watching, but we need to be honest here. Like, go ahead.
Most of the time it's close to perfect, but then there are times when she has PTSD. And
We say PTS because it's not a disorder, it's an injury. So I want to educate you as we do this, and I want to educate those guys too. So she has PTS. Go ahead.
PTSD and other mental things that happened from the war.
From the war? Okay.
Yeah, so,
I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
So she'll get into a depression and kind of spiral, and then I try to comfort her and be with her when she gets like that and help lift her up.
Is she always receptive to that? Or sometimes she's like, I just need to be left alone for a minute. Like, give me some time. Or is she always receptive to your help?
Not always receptive. And sometimes she will need a little space and just
That's right.
basically sleep and let her mind rest.
Right.
So I try not to wake her up.
That's right. It's so important to read the cues that your veteran's giving you. She's not asking you to leave because she doesn't love you. She's asking you to leave because she needs to adjust to the situation.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Continue.
We do almost everything together. I retired, and she's retired and retiring, and so we spend a lot of time together, and we work on projects. We're working on the house. We
Hold on just one second. Hey Chris, turn off this TV, please. I mean, we're lavaliered up and they got noise canceling, but mitigate any noise you can. Dude, my life was breaking shit and hurting people, and now I do this. Okay. So I'm gonna back up so we can cut this, okay?
Okay.
So it's important to know that when a veteran asks for space, give them the space the first time they ask for it. They're not asking for space because they don't love you. They're asking for space because they need it. They need to adjust to the situation, right?
Right.
So, but you guys do everything together, and having somebody with compatibility and the capacity to do things with each other is an amazing suicide protective factor. Good for you. Carry on.
And another thing we do, we go to church and we try to read the Bible every day and pray every day.
Will, could you believe that going to church or worshiping, I get it, not everybody's a Christian, but having the fellowship and the embrace of God, I'm not trying to push religion on anybody, I'm just trying to tell you what the facts are. But doing that together, having a relationship with God, is one of the most powerful suicide protective factors. That's wonderful. What do you do besides everything together and go to church?
Wow, it's just from the time we get up, getting coffee, eating breakfast, figuring out what we want to work on for the day.
Talk me through your day-to-day. Like, not yesterday, I want it like Tuesday. What did, like, a generic day, what does that look like? You wake up together because you're both retired.
Well, we kind of wake up together. She's kind of a night owl, and I'm not an early bird, but I get up earlier. So I'll get up, start some chores, make some coffee, then I'll pray by myself, and then she'll get up an hour or two later. And
can I ask you, what do you think she's doing when she stays up late at night?
She has a lot of stress and anxiety.
As soon as you said that, she's spending time alone at night, staying up late. Woo, woo, woo. That's why I asked about that. And I got the answer that I expected to get. Stress and anxiety. Carry on.
Since we've been together, she's had trouble sleeping. So I try to let her sleep and get as much rest as she can when she gets asleep.
Does she toss and turn in her sleep?
Not too bad.
Does she ever like throw punches or wake up scared or anything like that?
She has nightmares about the war,
This is where I'm going, right?
but as far as punching and swinging, that's me.
You do that?
Yeah.
Hey, it's not just veterans that have stress. We got to talk briefly about acquired childhood trauma or experience, your
That's
ACE.
where it came from.
So as soon as you said that, I'm like, shit, man, maybe Will has gone through some stuff. So that's why you're doing that. You got to you have to decide to be better. You got to want to be better. And then you got to unwrap that onion so that you can be better and be a better partner for her, right? So now we've identified you got some luggage and she's got some luggage. But what I'm going to teach you is both of you are going to set down your luggage because you choose to. I'm going to change your perspective, okay? So she's up late at night, anxiety, depression. What is she doing?
She's usually laying in the bed by me reading a book or watching something like YouTube on her phone.
Wow.
And
She's kind of distracting herself.
yeah.
It could be worse than that. When I see people like, not this, like this, scrolling through their phone, what good does this do anybody? This distracts you. It actually tweaks your brain, but most importantly, it takes her love and attention away from Will. See the problem? I was happy when he said that, well, she's reading a book. That's good. A book is good. A book is like this much of a, but if she's completely disassociated from you because she's preoccupying herself with her phone, this is as much for you as it is for them, right? So I'm trying to teach everybody from your example. So love it.
I'm the one that gets distracted playing with the phone, but she's usually right there on top of it.
Right. Does she shut you down when you've been on the phone too long?
Sometimes, yeah.
You want to know what your wife is doing right now? And that's fine. But what is she telling you by that action? She's saying, Will, I love you. Give me the attention that you're giving to all of those stupid videos. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, she's nodding her head. That would be great. Go ahead.
Where were we? In the average day?
What is that?
Well, we were going through an average day, right?
I don't understand what you're.
You told me to walk through an average day.
Average day.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying a word. Oh, yeah, average day.
What else do we do? We try to figure out what we want to accomplish for the day.
Okay.
Sometimes it works out and sometimes it don't, but
What about beyond the day? Do you guys make plans together?
we have long-term goals of things we want to accomplish.
I'm talking like plan a vacation or get together a family event, something significant on their calendar. Do you guys do that?
We, well, like we plan to come down here for the truck show.
Beautiful. Now, from a mental health standpoint, you're less likely to hurt yourself if you have something to look forward to. So it's very important to always keep an event in front of your veteran so that they always have something to look forward to. It's one of the many ways that we can keep her safe and keep her happy. Because, like, here's the model of a lot of nonprofits to prevent veteran suicide. I want to take a veteran to a hunting exercise or to a concert. We'll say those two because they're common. In order to prevent a veteran suicide, you have to be able to do math. There's 16 million veterans in America. According to the VA, and I don't always believe the VA, according to the VA, there's about 6,250 veteran suicides a year. So what that means is to actually prevent a suicide, if you're using a suicide model that's grounded in mental health, you would have to do something 4,000 times before you actually get one. That said, in my experience, if you line up 20 veterans and ask the group, are you suicidal? 2 or 3 of them are going to, oh yeah. And I'm sympathetic and they have my attention. However, I understand the different degrees of suicidality. Is this somebody who's had a bad day and like, screw it, I'm going to do it? That happens a lot. That's an impulse suicide. It's not as risky as somebody who goes, that's it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to put a plan together how I'm going to do it. Ooh, now we're starting to get serious because they're investing more time and energy in their own demise, right? Then what gets worse is you go from, I think I'm going to do it. That's it. I'm going to do it. To, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a friend of mine's as a vignette. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it by taking a can of gas and a lighter and a cell phone out into a field, right? So now he's got intent and he's got a plan. The next step as we make this more and more dangerous is intent, plan, resources. So the next step for him, if he's continuing to be suicidal and actually going to end his life or attempt to, he's going to go out and buy a lighter. He's going to go out and buy a can of gas and put gas in it. You see what I'm saying? But there was also another part of his plan that he needed a cell phone for. But that, I think that came in after his initial plan. We'll talk about that in a second. So we went from somebody with intent, a plan, and now it's resourced. How many things are left? About one. The most dangerous point in a suicide is intent, plan, resource, and then the decision to execute it. Now I'm going to do it. Let me tell you this, because a lot of people tell us all the time, you know, they were really depressed, and then all of a sudden they were up. They were excited, they were engaging, they were happy. Sometimes they do that because they've ultimately made the decision to kill themselves. They know that they got everything that they need and they've decided to do it. It's the exact same thing with some suicide bombers. They're at peace with themselves because it's already happened in their mind and they know that they're going to be out of pain or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So go back to the 20 veterans. 2 or 3 will say they're going to kill themselves. But on this spectrum, they're probably up here, or tragically, some veterans might be just saying it to attract attention. And they have my attention too. They have our programs, but I need to focus on the veterans here. If you try to prevent suicide at the point that somebody's got a gun in their head, that's stupid. You need to be upstream of this to the point where something is first starting to bother your wife. If you're meaningfully and routinely involved in your spouse, you wake up one day and she's agitated. Well, what's wrong, honey? Well, you know, I see my investment just went wrong and we just lost all of our money. It's all gone, which is a big problem with suicide. So you need to be paying attention to her every day, all the time. When she goes a little sideways, that's a full stop. Hey, honey, what's going on? Well, I just lost every penny that we have. Okay, babe, we're gonna get through this together. It's okay. I'm upset because we're gonna have some hoops to jump through. But at the end of the day, we're a frickin' team and we're gonna get this done. You understand?
Yes.
So, nationally, politics aside, it is what it is because people misunderstand the statistics. Nationally, the prioritization to prevent veteran suicide is lock up veterans' guns. I actually did a Freedom of Information Act request from the VA. I wanted to see the efficacy in passing out gun safes. So I'm like, all right, VA, how many gun safes have you passed out? They gave me an exact number to that point, because I actually got a person on the other end of that Freedom of Information Act that understood what I was doing and cared enough to do their job. So they gave me a number, how many gun safes they passed out. Now I got to measure the efficacy. All right, you passed out those gun safes, you know who you gave them to. How many of those veterans that you gave a gun safe to ended their life by suicide? We don't know. I'm like, it's exactly right, because that's the kind of data that you would need to support your program, to spend all this money and buy safes for guns. Listen, if you are in front of an audience of veterans and say, hey, I want everybody to lock up your guns, you're not freaking paying attention to your audience. You tell a bunch of veterans that, they're gonna go, fuck this guy. You're not taking my guns away from me. I earned the right to have my guns. We can be smarter about that. I know I was smarter about that when I was suffering. So how about we worry about the guns or the bottle of pills or, you know, the driving a car too fast at the point that that thing becomes a temptation to end your life, right? If everything's hunky-dory, I got a gun or 10 beside my bed. I'll tell you where I live so you can come break in. It's been a minute. You see what I'm saying? You have to have a suicide prevention model that's upstream from the act itself. I love to compare this, the gun control, pills, all that stuff. Let's lock shit up. I was a halo jumper for 25 years or something. I've got well over 1,000 jumps. I stopped counting at 1,000 because who cares, what's the point? Locking up guns and worried about trying to prevent suicide at the act, I compare that to jumping out of an airplane with my parachute on top of a ladder on the ground. I think you guys can get that reference, right? And I really believe with that model that I'll be able to stop, put my parachute on before I hit the ground. Not likely, right? So how about we go upstream where we have more effect? Honey, I understand you just lost everything we got, but you want to know what you got? You got me, right? So have a real suicide prevention model. Ours is grounded from the World Health Organization because their data is a hell of a lot different than the data in America. As an aside, what country in the world has the best suicide prevention model? The US? Not even close. It's Australia. Because Australia actually advocates for people, like you're gonna advocate for your wife, at a government level. Like you got too much credit card debt, you can't pay your bills and all that stuff. Well, hopefully somebody loves your wife enough that they might reach out to the credit card company. And if they're able to convince that credit card company to maybe change the rate or something, then that would help her stress. What if at a government level, they're like, hey, we're gonna establish a mechanism so they can't do this again because that's responsible, but we're gonna reach out to the credit card company. And the United States of America decides to say, hey, how about we give this person a break? In Australia, sometimes they actually get the company to forgive the debt, because that would matter, wouldn't it?
Right.
You can't forgive the debt and then enable them to do it again. Like I said, it's important to be smart and protect them from doing it again. Does that make sense?
It does.
Our model is grounded in the World Health Organization's suicide data and suicide prevention data. And then I look at SAMHSA and the CDC. That's the nationally, these are the smartest people in the business about doing that. Actually, I think some of the doctors that work for Checovet are some of the smartest. But nationally, this is the model. So I got to know this, I got to know this, and then I also have to coordinate and learn from the state and local and even the county, because states are different. I think California is a lot different from Montana, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you don't take the time to study here, then you're really not taking all of the factors for suicide into consideration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this is why I say organizations that have to prevent suicide in their model, but haven't. Yep. No. If they haven't even considered what a real suicide prevention model looks like, then their efficacy is based on testimony, right? What does this mean? I use data. I was in the Army 26 years. I was a Green Beret for 22 of those. I did 11 legit tours in combat. And then at the end, I was asked to come out of the Army and work for the CIA. I only tell you that not because I want to brag about that stupid stuff. I tell you that because I want you to know that I went from a guy who was paid to break shit and hurt people in order to protect Americans, in order to protect Iraqis and Afghanis. Everybody will. I am a freaking data weenie. My nose is in all of this stuff. You hear me slinging these numbers around. They're accurate. Why don't you go check? You might learn something about suicide, right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I went from breaking shit and hurting people to how do I care about them, right?
Right.
I care about them by gaining data. I get data, so when I get it in front of a company like, I don't know, Amazon, Landstar, Shell, right? If I can convince them that I'm doing the right thing in the right way, and I don't know, maybe build a model that means people don't have to want to do something because you want to play on your phone, right?
Right.
It's hard to get you to not want to do that. At Check Event, we flipped the script. We are creating a one-of-a-kind, first off, HR training module that companies can adopt, right? Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm going to take the want to out of it, and I'm going to change want to have to. Once a company adopts the Check Event training module, right, they are going to make the training mandatory, the same way that they make sexual harassment, equal opportunity, and the likes mandatory. They're doing these things for legal reasons because they want to protect the company. The suicide prevention model that we provide them, that's not about legal reasons. You're going to adopt this because you care about the people that work in your organization. Where do we start? I want to give you the most value for your money. So I'm going to give you a twofer. That's right. I'm going to give you something for free that will matter. Our suicide prevention model that we give to these corporations, you're going to pay for it because this is expensive to produce. It's grounded in SAMHSA, World Health Organization. What is the current suicide prevention model for the smart people? That's what I'm going to teach these companies with a pretest to show them how dumb they are. I mean, how little they know about the problem, how dumb they are. And then I'm going to provide some training, right? And then I'm going to give them a post-test. So I can demonstrate to them and the company that my training's working. Does that sound good?
It does sound good.
But sometimes information slides. So this is a program that needs to be repeated routinely. The model that we like to recommend is once every 6 months. That's the model that the Army uses, so it must be pretty good, right? So, our program is grounded in the best suicide prevention model for everybody. Because guess what? Companies don't just employ veterans, they employ Americans. There's 350 million Americans. Across America every year, they say that about 45,000 people end their life by suicide. So I'm going to work with these companies to give them something so that when they see one of their employees sad or not acting right, they can refer back to that training and go, huh, that ding dong said, if this happens, maybe I should try that. And I think that that ding dong is right. You see what I'm saying? So once this is grounded in that, and we see how much they don't know, how dumb they are, and then we teach them, like, you have to learn this. It's mandatory. And then what's the impact of that training? Look at how smart they are. What I mean is how informed they are. You see where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. That's module 1. I just gave you all that for free. I gave you all of that for free so that I can do my job, which is taking care of the 16 million veterans in America and trying to do all that I can do to keep them from putting their gun in their mouth. Right?
Right.
So now we're going to take this basic model, and like I say, we're going to wrap the camouflage around it. Will, the camouflage is things that your wife is suffering from. One of the largest ones is PTS. Don't say D, it's not a disorder. It's an injury. Like the smart people, now it's evolved to PTSI, or you could say PTS. So now you're learning something. We take that and assess the problems associated with that and incorporate it into this basic model and wrap the camouflage around it. Do we only worry about PTS? No. That's not the only problems the veteran face. One of the most difficult things and difficult times for a veteran is the time during transition. Man, I told you about all the stupid stuff I did in the service. So I went from all of that kind of being important to fucking putting a dent in my bed. It hurts, right? It's hard. So our model has that, right? Because you have to have it. So transition, PTS, and then also TBI, because TBI is a medical injury. We have to figure out how to treat that. Guys, this will really help you understand a lot of females veterans' trauma. Nearly every female that I've come across gravitating towards our model and wanting to volunteer because helping people makes you feel better. We're all victims of military sexual trauma. That's bad. But you want to know what's worse? Not that that isn't bad enough. I hate to say thanks, Obama, but thanks, Obama, because he turned the green light on for the military to go gay. So what's happening now as a second and third order effect of that decision? Would you be surprised that male veteran rapes has been as high as they've ever been, and the curve is, because you're like this, no, you're like this. This is what your curve is doing. Why? A male veteran is a lot less likely to report a rape. What? Why? Because we have more pride, we have self-conscious and all that stuff. So these are things that you got to incorporate. I'm just making sure the camera's still working. Still go. All right, Will. Now we're going to talk, we're talking about things that a lot of people know about. What we know most about is PTS. Everybody hears that. And then traumatic brain injury. Okay. And then like a little nuance of military sexual trauma. If I said the word moral injury to you, Will, what would that mean to you?
Someone did something to me against my principles.
What do we got for him, Johnny? Will, I was just on the phone with an amazing PhD in psychology. Spent her career in psychology. It's what she does. She still sees patients. And I love her to death. As a coincidence, about 10 minutes ago, I was on the phone with her and we were talking about this. When I said moral injury, she says, well, I'm not really familiar with that. But my man Will understood it. It's when you're asked or told to do something against your principles, against Army regulations, against common sense. But beyond that, the largest moral injury for veterans in the world is any veteran who joined the service after 9/11 is my hero, because they raised their hand with the expectation, I'm going to go to war for my country. There's something inside of them that's like, it's time to do my part, right? I'm going to commit to this. So they commit to it. They leave their family, they leave their house, and then they join the Army. They subject themselves to all the stress and bullshit. Sometimes it's bullshit, right?
Right.
And they do all of the prerequisites to be trained and with their brothers and sisters go to war. One of the largest moral injuries in the service is when those veterans never get to do their job where their job is supposed to be done. Does that make sense? Because that's something that went against your principles. Your principles led you to signing up. Will's actually a civilian, which is why he's here. The target demographic of Checovet is civilians. So, but put your military hat on. It's even worse, right? Guys, there's so many things that you have to incorporate to have an effective suicide prevention model. It's not a thing that you and your buddies go out fishing, taking the same buddies all the time. Remember I said you got to do something 4,000 times. You watching this right now, I hope that help me make this video go viral. Tell your friends, wow, this ding dong taught me a lot about suicide and veteran suicide, right? Your help right now, we can do this more than 4,000 times. I hope we can do it 350 million times, because that's how many Americans we got. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Put your phones down. Pay attention to each other. Love each other. I love doing this. Will, when you pull the camouflage back off of suicide, this is as simple as love your neighbor. Right? If everybody was loving their neighbor, then guess what? I'm fucking out of a job, and I love that. This is the hardest thing that I've ever done. I'm retired. I should be enjoying my retirement. I would love to be done, because you're all going to do your part to prevent suicide and veteran suicide. Then I can go on my sailboat and sail around the world, because that's my dream. That's what I've worked for, right? Make this go viral. Share it. Let me see, what do you say? Share it, like it, follow us. How about you go to checovet.org and donate to us? We are the only nonprofit that I know of that not only discloses their financial information on their website like it's required by law. I'm so scared of the money and so protective of my reputation. You can go to our website right now and my ledger's on there. I just had a CFO approach me who was so interested in Checovet. He's like, I checked in, I didn't know him. He's like, I checked in on your mission, and I'm like, okay. A lot of people will go to the homepage. I checked on your information. Charles, thank you. What Charles did was checked on our mission. What are we trying to do? And then he checked on our approach. How are you trying to do it? And then you got to look at the resources. How many resources do you got to do this, right? A great example of this is, sorry, I'm busting you out, the Wounded Warrior Project. Up front, nobody cares about more warriors that are wounded than the VA. And I'm also going to fix the perception of America in the VA. What you hear is single off, they're not onesies and two stories. There are problems with the VA. But there aren't problems that are so bad that should drive half of the veterans in America to not even want to accept what they serve for. Right? The VA's only captured half of American veterans. So if we can improve the perception of the VA to the American public, then you know what that does? That uplifts those employees of the VA that do their job responsibly, care about veterans, bust their ass, hug and cry all the time. So now their neighbor doesn't look at them and go like, what a piece of shit, they work for the VA. No, how about this? What a hero, because he's taking care of veterans. You see the change in perception? Any company you got. Jimmy Shepard taught me this, because I was a contractor and I needed to know this. If you do the most amazing job on your contract for 10 people, 2, maybe 3 of them will tell their friends. But if you do a shitty job for a customer, that person's going to tell everybody they know about it. I think that that's part of the problem. I might be wrong, but let me say this. That's my opinion. There's no wrong answer to that. I hope you watch this. I hope you share, like, and follow us. What I really need you to do is go to checkavet.org and give us a contribution, because you see what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the resources that we have. Don't think I forgot about you, Wounded Warrior Project, because I'm circling back. What's your mission? Help warriors that are wounded. Wounded warriors. How are you doing it? You got programs. I understand that. You got enough people that you can make a commercial every year about it. But what are your resources? Are you kidding me? This is an organization that's already been beat down twice for their inability to responsibly handle their money. But guess who is responsibly handling their money? These guys right here. Check of that. If you don't think we are, don't believe me. At least I get you to my website like that, and you'll learn something. Your philanthropy or your investment, your tithe, this is a tithe. This is a ministry. This is grounded in God, right? If people would pay attention to their philanthropy as much as they do their personal investments, then they would look into the organizations that have a ginormous glass building that is not even disclosed on their website how much this fucking thing costs, that America's paying for, right?
Right.
Whose CEO's price, cost, annual pay is going like this. At what point do they stop? I don't know. I hope they stop after this, because I put them out of work. Nobody takes more care of warriors that are wounded than the Department of Veterans Affairs. And guess what? They don't need a donation to do it. They're already doing it with your taxpayer dollars. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty good on the suicide prevention stuff, but I really think that the team of amazing people on the Checkavet board, would you be surprised if I said, as an idea to form a nonprofit, the first person that I was able to convince to come to my board was a acting Secretary of Defense. Thank you, Chris Miller. Right? Oh wait, there's a secret. I worked for Chris a long time ago, and I don't know why, but he loved me then. And then we worked together a later time for the CIA and a different organization, and he loved me now. And when I called him from Arlington to invite him to a cemetery, Arlington Cemetery, because we were burying Mike Hammond, which was one of his soldiers at the battalion level, and my soldiers at the team level, I invited him to the funeral. He said, Michael, this is all via text. Michael, I would love to, but I'm not available because I'm out overseas. But Chris is considerate. Chris loves his troops. He still loves his troops. He said, Michael, what are you into? You ever watch those Jim Carrey shows? I think the best one's like Liar, Liar, right?
Right.
And he breathes in like this. And then he just rattles off all the shit that's in his brain. Sorry, Chris, that's what I did to you. I'm texting, like, hey, I think we can really prevent veteran suicide if we do A, B, C, and D. And then there was a pause. Normally, Chris will text me right back, unless he's busy. There was a long pause. I started to get worried. I was vulnerable enough to say, he might say, that's stupid, don't do it. Why don't you keep making all the money that you're making building fences? Stick to what you know, right?
Right.
I think Chris was literally packing his box from being the Secretary of Defense from Trump's first term, which mattered because he was one of the only people that stuck to him till the end, didn't bail out and write a book about what a terrible experience they had. That man with that character and that love for people, he said, Michael, if you're gonna do that, and that's how you're gonna do it, I'm standing by. You tell me how I can help you. You tell me what to do to help you in this mission. You're welcome. Thank you, Chris. How crazy is that a nonprofit first person on their board and co-founder is the Secretary of Defense?
That's awesome.
But wait, there's more. The second person that gravitated to my board is a nationally known mental health psychiatric nurse practitioner. Not only did she do the job, she rose all the way to the top, and she was the dean of Ashland University. Holy crap, right?
Right.
You got to be smart to be in the field. You got to be really smart to lead the field. That's not all. Faye Grun also wrote the chapters used in a lot of nursing books across the United States of America that were relevant to me and my mission, because they were mental health and suicide prevention. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, are you kidding me, Will? This ding-dong with a high school diploma, who's passionate enough about what he does, that I'm a data weenie, got a Secretary of Defense and one of the most amazing mental health professionals in America. Bang, bang. Who do I give credit to besides them? God. Can't make this shit up, right?
No.
So, Will, do you think I've helped you understand a little bit more about your wife?
Yes.
Have I taught you something?
Yes.
And in teaching you something and learning from your experiences and really understanding how smart you are, because you just answered correctly what a moral injury was, when it was something that somebody had been doing this all their life, didn't know or understand. And that's not her fault. It's because this is something specific to veterans, right?
Right.
Will, I love you. Thank you for your time. Now go check on your veteran.
Can I share something with you real quick?
Yeah. I was gonna hug you, but you can talk.
My niece committed suicide about 5 years ago.
I'm so sorry for that.
And I was hoping this might help, but she went to a mental hospital,
Yeah?
got checked out. She came up with a plan.
Yep.
She told the plan to a couple other relatives.
Say that again?
She told the plan to a couple other relatives. She
Should have paid
had
attention.
she had the date, the time, and the place, and the method all worked out. She got drunk the day that it happened.
Suicide risk factor,
And
one
then-
of the top ones.
At midnight, she called her fiance, told him I love you, hung up, and did it.
And you want to know what? I bet you some of the people in her family will say, I never saw it coming. Right?
Unfortunately.
I'm correct in saying that, right? Hey everybody, I hug and cry with perfect strangers all day. I might whimper myself to sleep, but the next day I wake up with a smile on my face because I have a fresh chance to do something to protect one of the 44 veterans that are going to end their life by suicide that day. How many veterans do you think have ended their life by suicide since 9/11? Guess.
40,000?
40,000? That's terrible, Will, because from then to now, including the great Americans we're losing in Iran, We've only lost 7,000, less than 7,100. Are you kidding me? We lost 60,000 great Americans in Vietnam, mostly over the course of 3 years. What does that tell you? We are fighting wars smarter, right? But we all have to do something. You have to do your part. Because Will, you're wrong. Will you say 20,000?
40, that's what I thought.
40? Then you're close. If you Google it, and I think a lot of producers, even on national news, because of when they have it on, when they have me on to talk about this, they Google it. The number that they get when they Google it, Will, is 37,144. Exactly. Check it. What is that? That was done by Brown University, which might be a little left-leaning, or really left-leaning. And the study was written by a theologian, which was interesting to me because this might be a little outside of the wheelhouse of a theologian. And buried in the middle of this report was, these are post 9/11 era veterans. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Am I post 9/11 era veteran? No. That means only veterans that join the service after 9/11 count in this pool. Wait a minute. What if you were already in the Army and you went over 9/11? Sorry, you don't count. You're not in that field. Korea, Vietnam, all of the veterans are in peacetime up to 9/11. You don't count that number. What? How crazy is that? So you're close, but not really. So even that number would be 4 times the amount of suicides that we have combat losses. What a tragedy. Don't worry. Will wants to know more about this, so I'm going to teach him. Will, I know you're a smart guy because you're answering all this right. Right? Can you do math?
A little bit.
A little bit. Could you use a calculator?
If it's bad enough.
That's a rhetorical question. I know you can. So if you look at the VA's data over every year, all the way back to 9/11, and you can frickin' add. The VA's number isn't 30,144. It's 140,435. Do I got your attention now? That's 20 suicides for each loss on the battlefield. Are you fucking kidding me right now? At what point are you going to decide to do something? Will, do you believe everything the VA says?
Not 100%.
Me neither. But it's important that I look at their data and understand why they're doing what they're doing and how they're doing it. I could talk on this for hours, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but know this. Bristol Myers Squibb, national pharmaceutical company, gave a military veteran nonprofit called the American Warrior Partnership a grant of $3.5 million to define the problem of veteran suicide, right?
Right.
Thank you, Bristol Myers Squibb. I hope you and others will see this work and come to check of it and help me out too. So I apologize for forgetting the name of him, but the CEO of the American Warrior Partnership is a SOCOM guy. He was an amazing colonel that actually stood up the SOCOM Care Coalition. Right now I'm waiting for this thing to pop into my head. I've been blown up so many times. I'm not sure what I ate for dinner last night. But this man is leading this organization. He wants to be responsible. I'm just making sure this is not wrong. Will, say test. Will, say test.
Test. Test.
Good, good. So that amazing guy, who I still apologize for forgetting your name. I'll remember your name as soon as this is over. I got other things on my mind right now.
Understand
He's
that.
smart. He's responsible. He's going to take his fingers off of this. And he's going to hire, yep, because he paid them. Because paying people with talent is what you do. A lot of people think nonprofit leaders should not be paid. Shame on you. I've done this for 10 years and I've never paid myself. But I'm a Spartan and I can survive on top ramen and water. Is that what I deserve? Is that the value of this? What about what my kids are worth and what they deserve? If you're good at what you do and you're having an impact and you're having the right mission, we're value added. But beyond that, if you hope to attract talented people to help you do it better, stronger, faster, cheaper, where do you got to go? To the civilian sector and find somebody that knows how to do that and bring them in. Like Emily, our new COO. Thank you, Emily. Right? You have to be able to pay people. That takes money. But go back. He wants to be responsible. So he pays, I might be wrong here, the University of Alabama. They're pretty good unless you're looking at football, right? So he pays the University of Alabama to collect the data. And if you look through their methodology, they looked at 5 states. I think the most thoughtful state they looked at was Montana, the state that I'm from. But they looked at 5 states and they went back 7 years. They looked at every death in those states. I didn't say every veteran death, I said every death. And then they had to determine each one of those people, is this a veteran or not? This was a huge obstacle. This is an organization that's trying to do the right thing in the right way. Did the VA give them the social security numbers of all of the veterans in history? Do you think they did? No. Do you think they should have?
Probably.
Yeah, because it would have made those guys' lives a lot easier and they could have done more with Bristol Myers Squibb's gift, right?
Right.
There was actually communities that wanted to charge the American Warrior Partnership $5,000 to tell if one social security number was a veteran or wasn't. Shame on you guys. It's going to take all of us working together to do this. So the University of Alabama looked at these states and all they did was they collected the data. On the desk, is this a veteran or is it not a veteran? Amazing. Because they didn't report on just the state, they reported on the small towns, the big towns, the counties, and the big cities. And then because they can do math, then they came up with what they defined the problem within that state. Let me take it aside there. One of the things I'm trying to do nationally is get the VA to report veteran suicides, not at the state level, at the county level. And the reason I got to do this, Will, is all of these nonprofits that get things like the Staff Sergeant Fox grant, which I think is a little short-sighted, because veterans can't be, it has to be free, the treatment or the program. But with the VA's program and Staff Sergeant Fox, you can't be the most important thing for a veteran that's anonymous. They wanted me to report names. Not going to do it. No thanks. I need a model that's going to work, right? So Duke collected it. Correction. The University of Alabama is no good at football, collected it. Then Duke analyzed it. You see how clean this model is? These guys were in charge of it, but they're not asking for plausible deniability. They're partnering, they're collaborating with other organizations to get clean data. That was a really long way of saying they actually proved that the VA was underreporting veteran suicide. Are you fucking kidding me? That's your job. If it's your job to do something, maybe it shouldn't be you being the police watchdog on yourself, right? That's fair. Boeing could have told the FAA, don't worry, our planes are safe, but there's actually checks and balances. If you're doing a job and saying to the boss, Mr. President Trump, we're doing a great job, there's no checks and balances. That's why I think that, you're gonna like this, veteran suicide should be tracked by the CDC and SAMHSA. You see this 988 plus one?
988 plus one?
That is the veteran crisis line.
Yes.
Veterans are so stressed out by their lack of support by 988 plus one VA. I love the VA, don't get me wrong. I was praising them earlier. But where I see bullshit, I throw the bullshit flag. Okay? SAMHSA already had the 988. Veterans who are stressed out to call it, that we talk to, hug and cry with in this booth, I say, you want to be treated like a normal American? We deserve to be better, maybe treated better than, because we've earned it.
Yeah.
Don't press one. That's pretty smart, isn't it? Because now you're in the civilian sector, and they do things a little different, right?
Right.
Don't have a redundant thing that's already being done, in this case by an independent second party. Checks and balances. Let's do it like that. Hey, they're already doing it. And the numbers that they report for veteran suicide are really different than the numbers that the VA reports for veteran suicide, right?
Right.
Holy crap. So now where were we? 140,435. Because I can do math. And I can add them up. But wait, there's a problem with that. That's 2 to 3 years old by the time it comes out. I told you earlier that each year about 6,250 veterans end their life by suicide, right?
Right.
What if we considered that in 9/11 there was about 30 million veterans, and they were still at 6,250 about. Today, we have half of that. We're at 16 million veterans. These aren't from suicide. This is from our loss, from our boys and girls, from the Great Wars, from Korea, from all of that. As these heroes get old and die, that's the tragic loss. But wait, Michael, you just said that 6,250 was the same then as it is now. If I was running a business, that would be amazing. I'm doing the same work with half the people. That's good for a business, right? This is the opposite of that. This makes it twice as bad as it was in 9/11. You have half the people committing the same amount of suicides as you did with twice as much people. Sounds to me, Will, like the problem just got worse. It's progressively getting worse.
Yes.
We have so much to do on this. We have so much to learn. You have so much to learn. I got a handle on this stuff, right? Let me teach you how to keep your veterans safe. Put your fucking phone down and pay attention. This is where suicide prevention starts. Hey, Will, how are you doing today? I'm interested in what he has to say as a reply. How are you doing?
Okay.
I think Will is doing fine. You do fine. Go check on your veteran. Can I give you a hug now, Will?
Yeah.
You just put another 10 minutes on my video.
Okay.
And it was amazing content. Everybody, like us, follow us, share. Most importantly, if you care about your veteran hurting themselves, or worse, if you've lost a veteran to suicide, and that pain that's never going to end, because you can't get to the 5th stage of grief, which is acceptance, you can't do it. You'll eternally live, I'm sorry, but when your niece did that, everybody in your family can never get to acceptance. They will live the rest of their life in what I call coulda, shoulda, woulda. I could have prevented it if I cared more. I should have done something. I should have paid attention to what she was saying. Right? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If I had it again, I woulda. Let's change coulda, shoulda, woulda into I will. Will. Can you say I will?
I will.
Better care. I believe you. I'm done running my suck. My mouth is dry. I got love for this guy, though. Can I have a hug now?
You can have a hug now.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Peace out. Mic drop.